Hello, cuties! It is time for my March TBR, and we're doing it in this accent. Hi, this is a different angle than everything because things are packed. I literally 5 minutes ago finished my February TBR on time, y'all. And we needed to do my March TBR, but I am moving on March 2nd, so you're in the interim of that time, so I apologize if this is not as dynamic a TBR video as has been previously. I am looking forward to moving into a new space, having better lighting and better sound and better everything's going to be better because I say it's going to be better, right? That's how that works. So anyway, hi. So since I have finished my TBR from last month, let's get into it. I did accidentally pack one of the books that I read. First, we're going to go with these in reading order, and that was Talking to Dragons by Patricia C. Reedy. I had a fun time with this. It's not my favorite one. I think the second book is my favorite, which I think that one's Searching for Dragons. I think the second book is my favorite of the series. It's just so fun. If I'm remembering it correctly. This one was still fun. We had such a time jump because this involved our main girl from the first book. It's her son and his adventure, which was still a very fun time. I did enjoy this a good amount. So it did well. Next up, we read Under a Dancing Star by Laura Wood. Now, I was led to believe that this was a Much Ado About Nothing retelling, and it's not quite that. It does deal with characters from Much Ado About Nothing, but it's like the prequel. So in the play, Much Ado About Nothing, Bee and Ben know each other, but we're not really given a lot of context into how. Here's how. This is what this book is, and I enjoyed it immensely. I do wish that Laura Wood would write a sequel that is Much Ado About Nothing with these characters. I think that would be a fun twist, especially it gives, knowing what we know here, gives the weight of Ben and Bee's relationship and their animosity towards each other a little bit more weight and a little bit more gravity, I would say, to that context. Especially like the animosity part feels like it would be less in hers. But maybe through plentiful misunderstandings, as we all know and love. This is the UK edition, because I did get this in Ireland. I love this edition, so very much. But if you want a fun little prequel, we have a few other characters as well. Hero is in it, but not as prominently. We have Ursula as well. Ursula's a fun character in this one. So if you like the play as much as me, this is a fun way to experience the events prior. Thumbs up. Then we finally read Color of Magic by Terry Pratchett. And I get when people say, like, this is the weakest of Discworld. I still had a great fun time with it. It did lose me a little bit here and there, but I liked Two Flowers' character. I liked, Rincewind. Obviously, this is the beginning of Rincewind. Very fun. I definitely want to watch the adaptation with Sean Astin, though, because I feel like Sean Astin, I think he plays Two Flower. If not, I was envisioning him as Two Flower. So I could easily see that. So I definitely enjoyed this. So y'all can get off my back. I'm reading Discworld now. It's happening. It's finally happening. Calm down, Mina. Then we read A Pho Love Story by Loan Le. And this was fun overall. I liked that there was a lot more weight to this one as well. There's a lot more history because it is two families who run pho shops, and they, through lots of investigation, we find that these families once did know each other and once got along, but we don't know why, what happened, until we get these two characters to hang out more. I did think their little love story was very sweet, but I wanted them, sometimes I wanted them to refocus on the questions at hand. And I always get annoyed of when people just won't explain things for reasons. So there's a little bit of that, but then when we find out the actual truth, it's like, okay, that makes a little bit more sense as to why we didn't know everything. So this is it's a very sweet, delightful book, but it still has the weight of like generational trauma, and especially with like immigrant stories and stuff like that. Important for our times, I think. Then we went on to Gwen and Art Are Not in Love by Lex Croucher. I will say, I read Not for the Faint of Heart by Lex Croucher, which is her like second book. This was her debut, I believe. And I like that one a little bit more than I like this one. So I liked Lady Knight, Bridget, and Gwen's story a little bit more than I liked Art and Gabe's story, which was surprising to me. Just for my usual love of the trope of like the playboy who's a softie for a person. But I didn't really engage with Art and Gabe's story as much as I was engaged with Gwen and Bridget's. And I really, really liked the overall story of them. Unlike Bridget, I relate to her so much. I liked, like, she's got her career and stuff. She's not going to put that on hold to be somebody's secret, you know, that kind of thing. And I loved her whole arc and stuff. And there is actually a sequel coming this year called Bridget and Gabe Are Not Okay. And I'm worried about our babies. So, but I do like that we're going to get POVs from the other characters who are not POVs in this one. It's just Gwen and Art. So I do look forward to that. I like the overall mythology of this, mythology meaning loosely Arthurian. It's like they're descendants of the Arthurian myth and stuff. So, very fun, still a good time, but I definitely think I like Not for the Faint of Heart, which is more loosely of a Robin Hood more. I just really liked that one. I thought it was really well done and very intense. Speaking of intense, Where Sleeping Girls Lie by Farida Abike Yamide. And I liked this overall. I was struggling a little bit with it because this is my problem with mysteries and thrillers. Okay, I want to know everything right away. And this is just a me thing. I get that you're not supposed to figure things out. But I feel a little misled by one particular thing. And that's, I really thought one of the teachers in particular was going to be like the true culprit. I really thought, because there were some moments in the writing that just made me use my little like detective glasses and be like, that was suspicious. Why do you want him to call your first name? Why are you so familiar with these students, especially female students? I really thought we were going to have something like that on our hands. Instead, we got something else, which I was still suspecting. I just thought the teacher was going to be involved in it. I know. But I did like this overall. I think I would have liked the story with Persephone a little bit more, because Sade is our main character, and I would have liked, I like where they end up in the end, but I would have liked a little bit more building on their relationship beforehand, so that would like build a little bit more naturally to that when we have Sade with so many other interests, I will say, I guess. There wasn't really an indication of that being kind of an endgame scenario. Trying to be vague, I'm sorry. But it is a really good mystery. It does touch a lot on feminism and issues of certain kinds of culture, of a certain fruit culture, I will say, on the internet here. So read at your own risk. Little bit triggering in some things. But yeah, I did think this was an excellent novel. I still need to read Ace of Spades, which was Frida's debut, I believe. So I do have that. It's packed up right now. Then we have ourselves another DNF. Who's proud of me? My third DNF. Are you proud of me? That's The Witch and the Tsar. No real reason. Nothing wrong with it. I was bored. I just was not invested. I made it 31% in, and I'm like, I can't remember any character. And I couldn't remember, like, I couldn't even tell if we were time jumping, because it just kind of felt a little scattered in the writing, and I wasn't sure when I was reading. So I kind of gave up. I just gave up on The Witch and the Tsar, and I'm sad about it, because I wanted to have more fun with it. I wanted a good Baba Yaga story, but I wasn't getting a good Baba Yaga story, unfortunately. Oh well. And finally, the book I literally just finished, that is volume 11 of The Ancient Magus Bride. I was on volume 8, so I had to get through the other ones, and I have been very tired these last few times I've been trying to read these, and I keep falling asleep. So anyway, I finally got through it. It's fun. This is my problem with manga. okay? And it's not people saying manga. I mean, that is a problem. I don't like the font. When there is an L and an I next to each other in this font, it looks like a U, and it trips me up. And in this, like, the font in manga makes me feel dyslexic. So that is one of my struggles. Also, it is hard to tell which characters are which when so many of them look alike. There's a lot of very similar sketch people in this, and apparently the only difference really is their hair color. And I have such a hard time when it's all in black and white discerning who's who and who we're looking at. That is a me problem with manga. I'm still enjoying the overall story. I do wish it would move a little quicker with Chisei and Elias's relationship. I wanted to see how this was actually going to blossom, because it was very sketchy and groomy in the beginning, even though it's not. But it had me on the edge of my seat going, is this going to be a groomer story? Is this going to be a groomer story? Because this is Japanese lit, and Japanese culture in manga has a lot more acceptable things or unacceptable things that we would have in like American culture than we do here. So anyway, that's the TBR. So we finished on February 22nd. So I had 6 days to go on it. But we have to move on to the March TBR. Now, you may notice we don't have my wheel out or anything, because I already packed them, because we had to get ready for showings, and I couldn't have a spinner wheel out for showings, apparently. Whatever. So what I did instead is I asked my moderators on my Discord to give me a prompt. Each of them gave me a prompt, and I had to find something. So in total, this is going to be 9 instead of the usual 8. March is a longer month. So it should be fine. I was also trying desperately to focus on getting down some of my older NetGalley arcs. So I'm proud to say I did get at least 3 of them on here. And the rest were around. So number 1, Asura. Asura likes to be mean to me. Asura's my antagonist in my story in a fun way. I see Asura as my creative antagonist. Anytime I'm doing something, Asura's going to find a way to throw a wrench in it in a fun way. I want to clarify that being roasted and challenged like this is a love language for me, and Asura is top tier at doing this. So anyway, Asura's like the longest book on my TBR. So that ended up being currently the entirety of the Modern Fairy Tales by Holly Black. This is all 3 novels in a bound up. I did clarify if this counted, because it is 3 separate novels technically, and I can only find one of them on audio, so that sucks for me. This is 800 pages exactly. I will say good floppability, but this is Tithe, Valiant, and Ironside, and here's what it is about. When Kay saves the life of a stranger, injured young man in the woods near her New Jersey home, she has no way of knowing that her life is forever changed. For she will soon become an unwilling pawn in an ancient power struggle between 2 rival fairy kingdoms, a struggle that could very well mean her death. Elsewhere, Valerie is a runaway who has taken up with a gang of squatters in New York City. When one of them talks Val into tracking down the lair of a mysterious creature, she finds herself torn between her affection for an honorable monster and her fear of what her new friends are becoming. As Kay and Valerie delve deeper into the realm of fairy, can they save themselves from the dark magic of the Fae courts and protect their hearts? This is going to be a struggle to read, because my sister's name is Valerie. That'll be a struggle. All right. Next up, we have Michelle. And Michelle also likes to be an antagonist. Actually, all of my mods like to be the antagonist to my story. Michelle asked me to read the lowest rated on my TBR, having at least like 100 ratings. So that did, in fact, lead me to an arc that I have called The Prince's Heart by Ben Chalfin. Here is what that is about. In the heart of Sueria, where royal bloodlines carve the paths of destiny, Prince Darian Garros, the kingdom's beloved second son, faces the age-old clash between duty and desire. For years, Darian has dodged the court's expectations to find a suitable match, yearning instead for a love that values the man behind the crown. His longing seems answered in Tagliera, whose charm and genuine affection ignite a hope Darian dared not admit. Yet, fate is a fickle master. A sudden tragedy propels Darian into a role he never sought, challenging his deepest convictions. As the weight of legacy and the whispers of power threaten to suffocate him, Darian confronts the ultimate test. Torn between the call of his blood and the pull of his heart, he stands at a crossroads that could reshape the future of Soaria itself. With every choice comes a price, and Darian must decide. Will he follow the stringent demands of royalty, or will he choose the perilous path of love? In a world where allegiance and affection collide, Prince Darian's story is a testament to the enduring battle between the crowns we bear and the hearts we hold dear. Ta-da! All right, there we go. Next up, we have Ellie Marna, also my antagonist, giving me the oldest publication date. So I dug deep, but it's something I'm going to enjoy, I hope. And that is my new fancy copy of the Divine Copy. It's not that new. I got it like 2 years ago, but it's still a new fancy Gilded Edge copy of the Divine Comedy. Now, I technically have read this before, but that was in high school, so I'm allowed to reread it without any consequences. Not that I don't even know if this would count for anything in her kid, but still. Divine Comedy, Inferno, Purgatorio, Paradiso. This one has beautiful art as well. I remember when I was in high school, we mostly focused on Inferno, and then I went and read Purgatorio and Paradiso on my own. I just remember being just absolutely obsessed. This is, the first fan fiction I think out there. It is Bible fan fiction, as we all know and love. So yeah, I just remember how I think I just had a really good teacher this round. I read this in my junior year, and I had a really good English teacher my junior year. Mr. Reed, shout out to you if you're watching. You're probably not, but hi. He was a very kooky teacher. He had a big influence on me and my own teaching style when I started teaching in Japan. A lot of the games that he used to play with us, I totally copied those games, or at least the energy of those games for my students in Japan. He was a crazy dude. Loved him. But yeah, I am very excited to be rereading this again. I don't know if you guys need to know what it's about, but it's about hell. Actually, it's about the afterlife in general, because Purgatory is about purgatory, Paradise is about heaven, essentially, and those different levels and circles and stuff. Something that I've always had creepy, weird interest. And we move on to Alex, who wanted me to read something with multi-POV, which was surprisingly hard to find. But we ended up going with The City Inside by Samit Basu. And this is what it's about. Here's what it's about. Joey is a reality controller in near-future Delhi. Her job is to supervise the multimedia, multi-reality live streams of Indy, one of South Asia's fastest-rising online celebrities, who also happens to be her college ex. Joey's job gives her considerable cultural power, but she's too caught up in day-to-day crisis handling to see this, or to figure out what she wants from her life. Rudra is a recluse estranged from his wealthy and powerful family, now living in an impoverished immigrant neighborhood. When his father's death pulls him back into his family's orbit, an impulsive job offer from Joey becomes his only escape from the life he never wanted. But as Joey and Rudra become enmeshed in multiple conspiracies, their lives start to spin out of control, complicated by dysfunctional relationships, corporate loyalty, and the never-ending pressures of surveillance capitalism. When a bigger picture begins to unfold, they must each decide how to do the right thing in a world where simply maintaining the status quo feels like an accomplishment. Ultimately, resistance cannot take the same shape for these two very different people. We'll say that seems jam-packed for something that is pretty dang short. This is only 200 and... No, that's still acknowledgements. 240 pages. That seems like a lot to pack in there. We'll find out. Okay. Next up, we have Nina. Nina, my horror girly, who wanted me, of course, to read something with blood on the cover. So naturally, I've chosen a romantasy. Sorry, Nina. But it is also one of my arcs that I have missed out on, and that is The Court That Bleeds Gold. As you can see, there is blood dripping on this heart in the cover here. This is all we've got. This is an interesting way to do your blog, your summary, your blurb, not blurb. Synopsis. Desperate to escape marrying a brutal king, I make a deal with a Fae prince. I can spin gold, I lie. With my life at stake, I have no other choice. I get one chance to turn my lie into truth, and I'm shocked when I succeed. But now the cruel human king demands I become his wife, passing between his bed and being locked away in a tower, spinning gold until my last breath. My only way out is to summon him, a brutal Fae prince. The deal we strike is sickening, but it's the only way I'll live after I'm caught escaping. My new captor drags me back to his realm, a place of profound beauty and savage cruelties. As wicked fairies play sadistic games, the prince is my sole protector. He's not just protecting me, though. He's guarding his own secrets. I should hate him, but our pact shows me a side his court never sees. There is more behind this monstrous mask. I can't stop myself from looking, especially when I learn what he really wants with me. So we have a Rumpelstiltskin and Beauty and the Beast retelling is basically what we've got, this mashup. But there we go. All right. Next up is Elle, who wanted me to read something with a media reference in it, and I accidentally already packed this book, but that is In Every Generation by Kendara Blake, which is Buffy the Vampire Slayer sequel, like continuation story, but it's Buffy because in every generation there is a chosen one. She alone will stand against the vampires, the demons, and the forces of darkness. She is the Slayer. I'm not a huge Buffy fan. What? No, definitely not. So yeah, we have In Every Generation. This also counts for blood on the cover, I will say. Just saying. We have a new Slayer for a new generation. Frankie Rosenberg is passionate about the environment, a sophomore at New Sunnydale High School, and the daughter of the most powerful witch in Sunnydale history. Her mom, Willow, is slowly teaching her magic on the condition that she use it to better the world. But Frankie's happily quiet life is upended when new girl Haley shows up with news that the annual Slayer convention has been the target of an attack, and all the Slayers, including Buffy, Faith, and Haley's older sister Vi, might be dead. That means it's time for this generation's Slayer to be born. But being the first ever Slayer witch means learning how to wield a stake while trying to control her budding powers. With the help of Haley, a werewolf named Jake, a hot but nerdy sage demon, Frankie must become the Slayer, prevent the Hellmouth from opening again, and find out what happened to her Aunt Buffy before she's next. I want to know who the heck is Frankie's dad then, because, or is this like surrogacy? What is this? Because as we all know, Willow, literally, okay, this is one of my problems with Buffy the Vampire Slayer. This is one of the issues. Willow was in love with Oz for so long, right? We loved Oz, and then they destroyed Oz's character. I think that was a personal vendetta against Seth Green. I don't know for sure, speculation, but personally, I choose to believe that because what the hell? Because I loved Oz as a character so much. And then we get Tara, and Tara was also fantastic and great. Now they kept labeling Willow as just a lesbian, but I disagree with that. I think she is bi because she was so deeply in love with both of these characters. I don't think it was her switching sides as they made it seem. But of course, bi erasure was a huge thing in the media in the 90s and early 2000s when this was broadcasting. Anyway, but I want to know. Because Tara died. And then we had, Kennedy. Hated Kennedy's character, though, I will say. Did not like that one. So, answer me this, Kendara Blake. Did Oz come back? I'd be fine with that. Okay. Anyway, we'll find out. Hopefully we'll find out. Okay. So, we have Ace. Ace wanted me to do a blind emoji pick. So we did a poll in the Discord. Y'all chose the Starry Night one, and that led me to The Whispering Dark by Kelly Andrew. I'm actually excited to read this one because I recently read the other Kelly Andrew, Your Blood, My Bones, or something. Something like that. And I really, really like that. So here's what The Whispering Dark is about. Here's the original. This is what the actual cover looks like. This is a special edition. All right. Delaney always talked to the dark. She never expected it to talk back. Delaney is tired of being seen as fragile just because she's deaf. So when she's accepted into a prestigious program that trains students to slip between parallel worlds, she's excited for the chance to prove herself. But her semester gets off to a rocky start as she faces professors who won't accommodate her disability and a pretentious upperclassman fascinated by Delaney's unusual talents. Colton died when he was 9 years old. He woke several weeks later at the feet of a green-eyed little girl. Now, 12 years later, Delaney has stumbled back into his orbit, but Colton's been ordered to keep far away from the new girl, and the voices she hears calling to her from the shadows shadows. Delaney wants to keep her distance from Colton. She seems to be the only person on campus who finds him more arrogant than charming. Yet, after a student turns up dead, she and Colton are forced to form a tenuous alliance. But Delaney and Colton discover the cost of opening the doors between worlds when they find themselves up against something old and nameless, an enemy they need to destroy before it tears them apart, and it tears them and their forbidden partnership apart. There you go. So that should be fun. Also, for somebody who still need disability rep. Boom. Wow, I already finished mine. Okay, next up is another arc. So from T-Tine gave me a community poll. And basically what I had to do is scroll through my Discord and find a few books that I recognized and knew and had on my TBR and put a poll up. And that's what we did. And y'all chose How to Lose a Goblin in 10 Days, which I have an arc for, and I was late on. So here is what this is about. When a halfling, pansy, and a goblin, wren, each think they've inherited the same cottage, they make a bargain. They'll live in the house together, and whoever is driven out first forfeits their ownership. Amidst forced proximity and cultural misunderstandings, the two begin to fall in love. But when the cottage and their communities are threatened by a common enemy, the duo must learn to trust each other and convince goblins and halflings to band together to oust the tall intruder. This is going to be fun. Cozy fantasy. It does reminisce a little bit of the Spell Shop. A little bit. Or really, no. The Enchanted Green... It's giving the vibes of both the Spell Shop and the Enchanted Greenhouse. A little bit of vibes of those. And a couple other books that I've read. But I love the trope. That's a good trope. I do love a good forced proximity trope. A little kind of clashy. I like a good bet like this. Should be fun. All right. Our final moderator is Luke. And Luke gave me a book with 17 letters in the title. 17-word title. 17 letters in the title because, of course, we know 17. Luckily, I found immediately Sanctuary for Seers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 by Kathleen Baldwin. This is the finale in the Strange House series. I really like this series. It's a historical romance series with lady spies, essentially, Napoleonic era. And I still think Exile for Dreamers, second book, is my favorite. I've loved them all, but I think Tess's story is kind of my favorite, even though I hate the name Tess. But her story is my fave. Okay, here we go. It's 1814. Napoleon has escaped from Elba, conquered most of Europe, and now he wants Britain. And at Strange House, a school for unusual girls, 5 young ladies are secretly being trained for a world of spies, diplomacy, and war. Seraphina sees the emotional and spiritual worlds all around us. With Britain teetering on ruin, the young ladies of Strange House must risk their lives to join the desperate hunt to find the Prince Regent before it's too late. Sarah's secret gifts are desperately needed to help avert disaster. Amid the chaos, Sarah discovers the only person who truly understands her is the man they all fear the most, a man set on destroying England. Can she save her homeland and her heart from Ghost? Okay, sorry, Ghost is a recurring character, and that's intense. That's gonna... Interested to see how this turns out, but that is my TBR for March. All those lovely, lovely books. I'm excited to get going. A lot of them will be read whilst I move. I have at least those 3 books as audio. I do not have Sanctuary for Seers as audio. It is indie. I think I have one for Whispering Dark. I'm pretty sure I have one for The City Inside. I could listen to the Divine Comedy as audio. I know I only have Valiant. For some reason, I don't have Tithe or Ironside accessible to me in my library. And Everand only has Valiant. That's what I've got. And in Every Generation, I'm pretty sure I have an audiobook for that one. So a lot of unpacking and packing and moving will be done via audio for this one. So there you go. What are y'all reading in March? I don't know why I'm in this accent now, doing this weird thing with my mouth, but I am. I'm tired. I've had exhausting weekends ahead of me and behind me. So anyway, okay. I'm going to go now. Hopefully, you might see another video of me here because I'm trying to pre-film and pre-edit a bunch of stuff for the move. But soon, you will see the new place. Okay, thank you so much, everybody, for watching. Go check out my Ko-fi shop if you want to help me with the move expenses. And you'll get free access, not free access, obviously. You'll get sooner access to videos, and you get to vote every month. You guys get to vote on video content and other stuff that pops up. Once I move, there will be a lot more Ko-fi perks happening, but I just need to get settled. So look forward to that. Okay, I'm going to go now. Bye. I already packed it. Okay. Like a dum-dum, I packed it. Hi, I don't really want a squirrel right now, but thank you very much for a squirrel buddy. Go get Lucy. Where's Lucy? Where's your sister? Where's sister?